तासीम मीम तिलका आयातुल किताबिल मुबीन नतलु अलैका मिन नबई मूसा व फिरऔन फिल हक़ लिक़ौमि युमिनून इन्न फिरऔन अला फिल अर्दि वजअल अहलहा शिअन यस्तदइफु ताइफतम मिनहुम युज़ब्बिहु अब्नाअहुम व यस्तहयी निसाअहुम इन्नहु काना मिनल मुफ्सिदीन। सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम। My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, respected elders, dear youngsters and children, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His mercy has created human beings as the best of the creation. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ Ashraful Makhluqat, the best of creations, even better than the angels. This is something fantastic that He created. He made us all human beings. Are we thankful? Let us all be thankful and say, Oh Allah, of all the things for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have made, of all the creations that He created us as human beings. He not only created us, but He gave us this beautiful body and the organs and the kidney and the lungs and the heart and the eyes and the skin and so many other things. Not only looking at what we need, even giving us a contingency plan. If you and I have illness, if you have a trauma, if you have a disease, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us immune system, the healing system and the clotting system and everything built within us to make us live in this world, understand this world and perform in this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only made us and gave us these faculties of understanding and thinking, but He also gave us the sustenance and the living and the rizq, so that we can breathe, we can eat, we can drink, we can grow food in the beautiful world that He has given us. However, the most important thing that He gave us also, and we need to remember, and remembrance and zikr is all we need to do all our lives. He not only gave us this, but He gave us something called hidayah, guidance as a set of rules, a handbook of do's and don'ts, how to live in prosperity, how to live in adversity and in difficulty. He taught us manners and conduct, a victorious combination. How should men live? How should women live? How should children live? How should the youth live? How old people should live? How you may live in summer? How you may live in winter? In other words, brothers and sisters, the Quran Majid and the Sunnah give us the guidance. How do we conduct ourselves in a beautiful way, in a successful way, not only in good times, but in bad times. My dear brothers, I just recited the first 4 ayat from Surah Al-Qasas. Qasas means narrations, kahaniya, the stories. Qasas means narrating events in a sequence. This Surah Al-Qasas, is a narration. It's a detailed story of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam and his encounter with Fir'aun. According to a tradition reported by Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu, Surah Shu'ara, Surah Namal and Surah Qasas, all 3 surahs, chapter 26, chapter 27 and chapter 28, there is a very close connection between these 3 surahs. All these 3 surahs were revealed one after the another. Different parts, different aspects of the life of Musa alayhi salam are mentioned in different sections of these 3 surahs. And we all need to read these 3 surahs together to understand the complete story of Musa alayhi salam. When Musa alayhi salam was returning from Egypt after a long period of exile, he saw fire at Mount Sinai. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called Musa alayhi salam, وَإِذْ نَادَى رَبُّكَ Musa. Allah ta'ala told Musa, go to Fir'aun. Go to Fir'aun and his people. These people are unjust. They have crossed the line. They are breaking God's limits. Anit qawm az-zalimin. Musa alayhi salam, he remembered his past in Egypt. He grew up as a child in Pharaoh's kingdom in Egypt. When he was young, Musa alayhi salam had accidentally killed an Egyptian while defending an Israelite. And Musa alayhi salam feared the Egyptians would take revenge and put him in jail. So Musa alayhi salam told Allah, وَلَهُمْ عَلَيَّ ذَنْبٌ. They have a crime against me. قَالَ رَبِّي, O Allah, I had accidentally killed أَخِتِّي إِنِّي قَتَلْتُ مِنْهُمْ نَفْسًا. So I'm afraid. فَأَخَافُ, I'm scared to go back to Egypt. If I go back to Egypt, the Egyptian authorities, the police, they will arrest me, they will kill me. فَأَخَافُ أَن يَقْتُلُونَ. Allah says, قَالَ كَلَّا, never, certainly not. فَلَا يَسِلُونَ إِلَيْكُمَا, वो तुम्हारा कुछ बिगाड़ नहीं सकेंगे. The Egyptians, they will not be able to hurt you. فَذْهَبَا بِآيَاتِنَا, go with our signs. Allah Ta'ala assured Musa alayhi salam, إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ مُسْتَمِعُونَ. We shall be with you listening. We shall be with you listening, and we will help you and we will support you. We will strengthen you with your brother Harun alayhi salam, and we will give you both power and authority. وَنَجْعَلَّكُمَا sultana, and you two only will prevail. Musa alayhi salam goes to Fir'aun. He tells him two things. He tells him that I am a messenger of Allah. Inna Rasulu Rabbil Alameen. I am the messenger of Lord of the world. I am speaking on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let the Bani Israel go with me. An arsil ma'ana Bani Israel. Free the Bani Israel. Release the Bani Israel from the bonds of slavery. An addu ilayya ibadillah. These people are not your slaves. They are Allah's servants. This is the command from the Lord of the world. When Musa alayhi salam asked Pharaoh to release the children of Bani Israel, Pharaoh deflected. He shifted the topic. He attacked Musa personally. How can you be the messenger of God? Fir'aun told Musa, you spent your growing years as a child in the same place. وَلَبِسْتَ فِينَا مِنْ عُمُرِكَ سِنِينَ. The same house, you and I. How can you claim to be a prophet? We both grew up in the same place. قَالَ أَلَمْ نُرَبِّكَ فِينَا وَلِيدًا. I raised you. I took care of you. You owe me gratitude. I nurtured you. I took care of you. मैंने तुम्हें पाला पोसा. You owe me loyalty. How can you challenge me? How can you rebel against me? And Fir'aun tried to emotionally manipulate and emotionally blackmail Musa alayhi salam. The modern day Fir'auns trap the minorities into patriotic blackmail. We gave you jobs. We allowed you to live here. You become president. You owe us loyalty. You cannot question the system. You cannot assert your religious identity, your political identity. You don't conform with us. When you ask, why this mosque, why this building is demolished, what is the evidence? The reply is, you are invaders. You have no right to lecture us. This is a classic ad hominem fallacy. You attack the speaker, not the evidence. Musa, not his message. Character assassination of the messenger. Fir'aun called Musa alayhi salam a magician. Inna haza lasahirun alim. Fir'aun called Musa alayhi salam a madman. Alladhi ursila ilaykum la majnoon. This is a madman. Call him liar, call him madman, call him a poet, call him a killer. A time-tested distraction tactic of shifting focus from truth to personality. Dismiss the messenger, not the message. Divert the attention from Musa's message. Fir'aun and his people tried to discredit Musa alayhi salam morally by reminding that you are a killer. How can somebody with blood on his hands claim to guide others? You are not a messenger of God. You are just a runaway servant of mine, and now you have come back to claim authority. Inna Fir'auna ala fil ard. Fir'aun वो जमीन में बड़ा सरकश हो गया था. Fir'aun raised himself in land. He put himself above others. One law for him and his people, and another law for others. In France, women are banned from wearing hijab. In the US, blacks are disproportionately imprisoned in jails. White offenders get lighter sentences. Beef ban applies to some, but beef export is allowed. One law for the powerful and one law for the weak. Allah Ta'ala commands Musa alayhi salam to go and stand up to the bully. Idhab ila fir'auna innahu tagha. Fir'aun के पास जाओ, वो सरकश हो गया है. Standing up to the bullies, speaking to those in power is the sunnah of the Prophet. We Muslims today have forgotten this sunnah of the Prophet of speaking to the power, rubbing them on the wrong side. Why are people scared of the bullies? The Quran mentions some believers, some Muslims who said, قَالُوا لَا طَاقَتَنَا الْيَوْمَ بِجَالُوتَ وَجُنُودِهِ. They said, we cannot face this large army. We don't have the strength, the courage against Goliath and his army. While some people, some Muslims said, numbers don't matter. Kam min fiyatin qalilatin. How many times a small group of people, ghalabat fiyatan kathiratan. How many times a small group of people have overcome a big group? Bi'iznillah, with the permission of Allah. Why are people scared of facing the Jaluts, the bullies? Who is doing this today? Who is speaking to the power today? Who is questioning? Who is holding them to power? The alt news, the Zubairs, the caravans, the wires, the news minutes, the news laundries. These are the people who are following the sunnah of the Prophet. These are speaking truth, speaking for the Muslims. Yet, you and I, we don't support them. We don't donate to them. Allah Ta'ala commands Musa alayhi salam, Fir'aun से पूछो, फ़कुल हल लका इला अन तज़क्का. क्या तुम अच्छे बनना चाहते हो? Do you want to become good? Do you want to become better? क्या तुम अपना तस्किया, अपनी पाकीज़ी करना चाहते हो? वअहदिका इला रब्बिका फ़तख़शा. I will tell you, I will guide you how to submit and how to fear Allah. فَكَذَّبَ وَعَصَى. But Fir'aun, he rejected Musa alayhi salam. He disobeyed. Summa adbara yas'a. He started plotting against Musa and he started devising schemes. Fahashara fanada. He gathered his people and he declared, he announced to his people, Faqala ana rabbukum al-ala. I am your Lord, the Most High. I have the authority. I will do what I want. Authority to do what? What did Fir'aun do? Social engineering. وَجَعَلَ أَهْلَهَا شِيَعًا. Fir'aun divided his people. He made his people into groups, into parties. लोगों को बांटा, लोगों को तक़सीम किया. Divided people into castes, languages and religions. He created inequality. Keep the Hindu versus Muslim pot boiling. He broke the society into different parties, different tribes and different classes. The whites, the blacks, the Hispanics, us versus them. He played the divide and rule by making groups hostile against each other so that he could keep control over them. Inna Fir'auna ala fil ard. In the Bible, in the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 8 to 16, it is mentioned, a new king, he came to power in Egypt. And to this new king, Joseph meant nothing. Yusuf alayhi salam had ruled Egypt. And the Quran, Allah Ta'ala says, وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. हमने यूसुफ को ज़मीन में इख्तिदार दिया. We gave power to Yusuf in land. And Yusuf alayhi salam ruled Egypt. He saved Egypt from famine. He saved Egypt from poverty. He was in charge of treasury. And because of Yusuf alayhi salam, because of his family, because of his 12 brothers, the children of Yaqub alayhi salam, the Bani Israel, the Muslims, they were welcome in Egypt. And the Muslims settled in Egypt. Generations passed. After the golden era of Yusuf alayhi salam, a revolution took place in Egypt. A nationalistic revolution. Power returned from the Bani Israel to the Coptics, the native Egyptians. The new government refused to acknowledge the legacy of Yusuf alayhi salam, and they tried to oppress Israelites. According to the Talmud, the shift of Bani Israel, the shift of power from Bani Israel to the Coptics, the shift of power from the Muslims to the Khittis, the rise of nationalism, the rise of Fir'aun, the oppression of Bani Israel, it happened a little over a century after the death of Yusuf alayhi salam. The new government said, look, these Israelites, the Muslims, have become far more numerous. They are doing population jihad. We must deal with these people shrewdly. If we don't, they will outnumber us like cockroaches and termites. And the new king told his people, if tomorrow a war breaks out, they cannot be trusted. These Israelites, they will join our enemies. They will fight against us. The Bible further says, the new king, he put slave masters over the Bani Israel, and he oppressed the Bani Israel with slavery, with forced labor. These laborers were forced to build the royal cities, fortified cities, the city of Pithom, the city of Ramesses, the centers for storing grains and storing supplies to Pharaoh. This is all mentioned in detail in Bible, in Talmud, in the book of Exodus. You can Google it even today and check it out. Brothers and sisters, history is not just about the past. It is a mirror for the present. The Quran reminds us the stories of earlier nations. It reminds us of Bani Israel, of Fir'aun. Who were the Bani Israel? The Bani Israel were the followers of prophets just like the Muslims. The Bani Israel were the followers of a book just like the Muslims. The Quran reminds us of these stories so that we can recognize the patterns of oppression, the patterns of injustice, how power is misused. After narrating the stories of the past nations and the prophets, the Quran ends with reminders. لِقَوْمِ يُؤْمِنُونَ, for a people who believe. Only people with faith and belief will truly benefit from these lessons. لِقَوْمِ يُقِنُونَ, for a people who are certain, people with yaqeen, firm belief, will understand the moral of these stories. لِقَوْمِ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, for a people who can reflect. This story is for people who use their mind, who reflect deeply, who understand the wisdom from these lessons. The purpose of narrating these qasas, these stories, is not entertainment, but the purpose of narrating the stories is for our ibrat, to take lessons. The Quran describes in Surah Al-Qasas, يَسْتَدْعِفُ طَائِفَةً مِّنْهُمْ, the Pharaoh, he made the minorities weak. He killed their sons. يُذَبِّحُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ, put them in jail, humiliated them in public. He spared their daughters so that eventually those women would come under the control of the Coptics, and a new Coptic generation would emerge in the place of Bani Israel. The Quran says, يَسُومُونَكُمْ سُوءَ الْأَذَابِ. This was a punishment, the worst of the punishment. This was Pharaoh's system to divide people, to deny rights and maintain power by weakening one section of the society. How? By bringing in new bills, new laws. As we speak, a process is being carried out called SIR. SIR of the voters. What is SIR? S is for special. Special means extra. I is for intensive. It means thorough. R is for revision. It means correcting errors. As you're aware, the SIR, Special Intensive Revision, the exercise has already started in our state from June 30th. The SIR is being presented as a routine administrative exercise to improve electoral rolls. Even in the past, revision lists used to happen where the task was to correct the voter list. How is this SIR different from the past intensive revisions? Every public exercise must be judged with 3 questions. What is the purpose? How is it being carried out? And why is it being carried out now? The intent, the method, and the timing. The intent of the SIR, the method of the SIR, and the timing of the SIR raise important questions. For the first time since independence, a new voter list is being prepared now. The SIR is being linked with the citizenship. If in future, if you and I are no longer a voter, it means we are no longer a citizen. It is the duty of Election Commission to include more and more valid voters into the rolls. No one should be left out. The migrants, the people sleeping on the roads, on footpaths, who have no roads, who have no homes, they are all sovereign citizens of this country. But in this exercise, the focus seems to be to exclude more and more people. It appears to be very selective. It places a heavy burden on some citizens than on others. Very smartly, this work has been done such that the burden, the onus to prove your citizenship has been shifted to the citizens. Previously, it was the government's job. The state used to ensure the names in the electoral rolls. It is no longer the state's responsibility. If our BLO, if our ERO, if our ARO is not satisfied, they can easily decide to erase our names from the voter list. This is not a revision of the list. It is a making of a new list altogether. And it is the exercise of excluding and deleting the inconvenient voters. The revision was supposed to be a correction of voters list. It is supposed to be removing duplicate voters, the dead voters, adding new voters, fixing spellings. But the reality is far more complex. If done wrongly, if misused, and SIR will be misused as a tool of exclusion. The poor and marginalized families, they lack documentation. I know a young Hafiz who teaches the Quran in homes. He does not have a valid birth certificate. And he says, this is how it works in the North India. The officials refuse. They do not issue a birth certificate to newborns. And since SIR is happening right before elections, many of us might lose the right to vote unfairly, and SIR could be used selectively to disenfranchise. This is why it is risky, because of documentation hardships, because of short timelines, because of legal ambiguities, and most important, because of the danger of political bias. Migrant workers move from place to place. They cannot get documents at such short notice. This is injustice. This is fasad. And Fir'aun divided his people into groups. He subjugated one section of the people. Not all citizens of land should be equal in the eyes of law. Not all citizens should be given equal rights. He granted privileges. He granted distinction to others, to some. All the benefits, all the gains and the ranks reserved to one class of people, and those who are born from the ruling class, while others were subjugated, were oppressed. He divided people based on ethnicity, on race. We all know this. This is not something very new, especially to this audience who are educated, who are professionals, who are learned, who are aware of what is happening in the country. The question is what next? What to do? How to be prepared? Dear brothers, the transformation of power from Yusuf alayhi salam to Bani Israel, to the Fir'aun, to the Khittis, to the Egyptians, did not happen overnight. It happened in stages. It took more than 100 years. The Muslims today, you and I, we are sleeping on the mattresses and bed sheets and the pillows which have been laid down by our forefathers हमारे बुजुर्गों के बिछाए हुए बिस्तरों पर हम आराम से सोए हुए हैं. The hard work of our ancestors kept us going, kept our voting franchises, the Waqf, the Muslim personal law. Somebody worked very hard to create our names in the voting. The blankets are now being pulled. The mattresses are going to be removed. We need to be ready to sleep without the pillows. However, this can be stopped if we take proactive approach, if we take preemptive actions. Surah Qasas ends with a good news and hope. وَنُرِيدُ أَن نُمَكِّنَّ وَنُرِيدُ أَن نُمَنُّ. It is Allah's desire that He favors. Allah हमसे इरादा रखते हैं कि वो हम पर मेहरबानी करे. وَنُرِيدُ أَن نُمَنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Allah Ta'ala favors those who are weak in the land, those who are minorities, those who are oppressed. وَنَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَئِمَّةً. And it is Allah's desire to make the weak, the oppressed, the imams of the land, the rulers, the leaders of the land. وَنَجْعَلْ لَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. And to make the weak, the inheritors, the warithin of the land. وَنُمَكِّنَ لَهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And to grant them power in the land. وَنُرِيَ فِرْعَوْنَ وَحَامَانَ وَجُنُودَهُ. It is Allah's desire that He shows the Fir'auns, the Hamans of the world what they fear most. But Allah Ta'ala, He wants to do all this through us, through the believers. Allah says, I can punish, I can defeat them very easily, I can overpower them easily. It is very easy for me. But I want to punish the zalims through my believers. يُعَذِّبُهُمُ اللَّهُ بِأَيْدِيكُمْ. Allah तुम्हारे हाथों से इनको सजा देना चाहता है. Allah Ta'ala wants to punish, to defeat them by your own hands, by the hands of believers. But the question is, are we the believers? Are we ready? Sabaq par, phir pad, shujaat ka. Allama Iqbal said this beautifully. He said, Sabaq phir pad, shujaat ka. Learn, read, dust the Quran. कुरान पर जो डस्ट लगा हुआ है उस डस्ट को अनडस्ट करो, उसे खोलो, उसे पढ़ो, उसमें जो लेसन्स है उसको सीखो. मूसा से सीखो, हारून से सीखो, यूसुफ से सीखो, सहाबा से सीखो. क्या सीखो? द लेसन्स ऑफ शुजाअत, द लेसन्स ऑफ करेज. सबक पढ़, शुजाअत का लिया जाएगा तुझसे काम इमामत का. Allah Ta'ala wants to prepare you for the big job, the job of leadership, the imamat. He wants to prepare you for the tough job. So He sends the Fir'auns, the Hamans, the Nabruds. This is a call to us. Are we ready for this job? Are we ready to stand against the bullies? May Allah Ta'ala grant us the wisdom to see the reality check, to analyze our circumstances in the light of the Quran, to seek solutions from the Quran, to be united, to choose a leader and follow that leader, and to shape our character according to the Quran. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Quran al-azim wa nafa'na wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikril hakim. Astaghfirullah li wa lakum wa lisa'il muslimin. إنه تعالى جواد كريم ملك بر رؤوف رب الرحيم.